About it. We can talk about it when we start.
Okay, fine.
Makes me feel bad for not liking
Welcome
Rocky
to
Cage.
the Three Geeks podcast.
Yeah.
It is Max, John, Dan, Scott, our special guest, Mr. Brian Lau.
Back on.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, wait a minute. I wasn't told this guy was going to be on.
Dude, how come Team
John.
Staunch is there a way to put a Team Staunch cast together?
John, we won Remake Revolution together, John.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why are you bringing that up? Because it's just going to aggravate Max. Why? Why are you bringing that up?
Oh, you guys might be the Remake Revolution champions, but John and I are the Remake Revolution champions, where you remake who won the championship.
In your own mind.
They call that revisionist history.
Okay. No, I'm just glad for armpit hair long enough to climb. That's all I'm glad for.
Are you glad Victor and Ryan didn't come up with anything crazy like that this past week?
No, if they would have come up with something like batshit crazy like that, I would have flipped out. I'm like, what is going on? Like, how is it like? I'm weird. That just means that I'm totally weird. I don't think of these odd things. Like, no, but they were super cool. Like, it was really fun to battle them, Remake Revolution. Another victory for Team 3 Geeks, mostly Dan's work. It was a weird project, and we needed an odd mind to lead us to victory, and then he made it happen. So
there you go.
I'll accept that. That's fun.
So Sunday we dropped our interview with Hallea. Let's talk about that real quick. What we thought about that?
No, she's super cool. She's just a lot of fun. She's like a really cool person. I didn't know, like. A blonde girl plays, like a mean girl in a movie. There's like a lot of stereotypes you can really fit her into, and I don't feel like she actually fits in any of those. So I was pleasantly surprised. She's like a really cool person. I do want to say, like, she, is really about the like anti-bullying, which is which is a cool thing because she plays the bad character. So it kind of lets you like have some fun with it. I hope they figure out a way to be like work even is like, hey, like I'm not, she'll come out as the mean girl and bully, and he's like, hey, you're not supposed to do that, and people can fight her off or something. They can like.
I loved her. I loved her sensibilities of her concern for how people interpreted her character, and she was concerned about bullying and people loving her character, and she's like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to love this character. And I love that she cared about the effect of her art, and how it influences people.
Yeah, I feel like we've been blessed with all the people that we've gotten to interview so far. Like, we're not seeing some of like the real Hollywood stars.
Yeah, Kevin sucks. I'm waiting for a real asshole. I mean, Kevin Sorbo is kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe I should book Tommy Lee Jones soon and give us a reality check.
You think we could get? Yeah, we could probably get him. I mean, he can come on the podcast.
My thing with Hallea is I really liked the fact that she was so easy to talk to. Like, I know that we were told or instructed, hey, let's keep it to 15 minutes, and we went over that because she was just so easy to talk to. I mean, I know that it wasn't 15 minutes. I don't know the exact run time, but because she wanted to talk about all of these different issues that she's feels very important and whatnot. So I thought that was really cool. Like, she was just easy to talk to.
She's passionate about her craft, and she likes to talk about it, and she likes to meet fans.
We've had guests where we could barely get 10 minutes out of them in an interview, and she was just happy. It was great.
And Zordon last time too. Like, that was like, we've had just a couple. Just a string of good guests. Brian's on now, so I mean,
and we're about to find out all about Staunch Ambition and the future of Brian Lau. So Brian,
I got some up and coming new music Huh?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can collaborate with her, because I'm literally been wanting, and trying to figure out how to get some new music, and that would be awesome if she's got something that would fit.
Yeah, that'd be totally cool. I feel kind of awesome that it's like, okay, 3 Geeks podcast kind of brought it together. Like that's you'd be like the godfather of this like musical baby you guys are about to make.
We'll get you guys in the background harmonies. How about that? We'll get Max's laugh in there somehow.
Oh my God, terrible! Yeah, don't ruin the track.
As soon as I get the technology to do so, I want to have a Max laugh track where I can just hit a button and start his laugh.
Like that psycho crazy laugh from the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, no, they play that while they're dripping water on your forehead. It's just a 8-hour track of my laughing.
Oh yeah.
But
so
Brian, tell us all about what's going on.
What's going on? Well, currently I'm painting a one-shot full color. Erwin Arosa drew up Avatar: The Last Airbender poster. So that I'm getting close to finishing the colors. That'll be coming out as a poster, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the cartoon, but that show is like a huge show for me and my family, and they're now going to be doing soon the live action version of it on Netflix, which I hope will erase the memory of the movie.
Nothing. No, we don't. I'm sorry to break into politics now, but we don't want to erase history, okay? It happened. You have to acknowledge that it happened, learn from it, and move forward.
I'm glad to hear you say that, Max. I posted a thing about all these, certain statues being torn down, but it's like, okay, well, let's get rid of them, but let's not just erase history.
Well, I'm not going to display the M. Night Shyamalan movie anywhere, but I'm not going to say it didn't happen.
Right, exactly.
Is there a statue of the Avatar movie that we could pull down?
I would tear it down in a second.
I would have already done that thing down.
Poster boxes, you can just rip them out.
Let's just build an effigy of it just so we can rip it to shit. Anyway,
burn it. I think we should burn it. We do a Burning Man of like the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar.
Firebend it.
Ooh.
So anyways, the poster's going to be a nice. What's that? Oh, the poster's going to be a nice full color poster. But then to get onto something, a little bit more to the book, John knows as good as anyone. I was writing last night, and anytime I jump into writing, I just dread it because the pressure and getting it right and the words but I've been bouncing ideas off of John. I actually sent the script for this last final issue of Staunch Ambition to John before even pencils started, or as they just started. And I just wanted to get somebody who's a comic and a friend that could kind of look at it, with fresh eyes. And he came back with some input. And then I've been bouncing ideas off my son, Augustin. And he's been coming back with some, like, well, what about adding this or that? A few things I added that I was able to build on. So this last issue, I think I have about 4 or 5 more pages. I know what I'm going to have, how it finishes, but I have like 4 or 5 pages to just actually write, and it will be complete written. And then Erwin is almost caught up to my writing, so that pencils on this issue 4, this is going to be an extra size issue. It's not going to be like 24 pages. Right now, I think it's going to be around 38 pages for this issue 4, this final conclusive issue. And the pencils are almost done, and then I'm getting colors done by Neil Anderson and a new colorist, Bunny, who goes by the name Bunny, who is magnificent. So just to try to get the colors up to speed, because we're kind of way behind on the colors.
No spoilers from me. I read the script. No spoilers from me.
Yeah, no, we had no prior knowledge. I can attest that like loose lips sink ships, and John Orlando's a good man.
I was gonna say, is this breaking news? Breaking news! We did not know Brian even wrote a script.
So yeah, you know, that's what I'm saying. I love these like Three Geeks podcasts. Like, we're bringing you the fresh, hot scoop right from the freaking horse's mouth.
I want.
Was that script we were reading back and forth before we did Matt Talk on Wednesday?
What'd you say?
Was that script we were reading back and forth with Lori? We got Lori to read it with us?
I may or may not have posted all of the pages on Instagram.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
It's a new tier on the OnlyFans. Not only am I dressed like Lady Rawhide, I read the Staunch Ambition script. So,
well, John, could you say a few words on? You read the script, and then I've been sending you the preliminary roughs from Irwin and the progress between Irwin and I as he sends me the first draft, and then I go back and forth until we get the final page. And then a few times on the phone, I've been going over with you the reasons and the decisions of why this was changed or that was changed. And I was just curious your input on the creative process. I mean, on this issue, you've been like really involved on the creative process.
Thank you. Well, I offered to you, and for the listeners at home, I offered to Brian to help him out if he needed, a fresh set of eyes. Because I know, like, for editing a podcast, like, I hear it 63 times as I'm editing it. So sometimes I think it sounds great, and then I've gotten feedback like, well, man, there was this little buzzing noise or something. You know what I mean? So I can totally understand where you get so ingrained into it that you're like, you totally think it's great, but it might not be. So I was honored that you took me up on that offer. And, here's the thing. I think we joked the last time, but in real honest to goodness, full transparency, I made a joke that this would make a compelling reality show, like how a comic is put together, because I made the joke to Brian. I'm like, it would be great to have like the cameraman right back here over my shoulders. We're talking on the phone and talking about how the art's laid out and everything. But it's been an eye-opening experience. And there have been times where Brian has said, can you take a look at this? Does this make sense? And I can remember one particular panel where, and if I'm not mistaken, you could correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, like there was just like this real odd empty space between two sets of actions, I guess you could say. And I was like, dude, that just doesn't work for me. We got to kind of, if you rotate the scene or if you kind of change a little bit, like to me, it just looks like, even if there's word balloons in here, that's a hell of a lot of space to
there was a disconnect.
There was a disconnect. Yeah, exactly. Right. That was the best way. And then, I think he went back to Irwin and talked about it. And then the next set of pencils and the next, they adjusted it a little bit. And I'm like, that works better for me. That gives that sense of depth that I could connect with. Whereas setting it this way, there's no depth. It's just, to me, like very static. And I mean, it's fun. I enjoy doing it. And I hope that from my untrained eye, because I don't have a degree in art, I hope that, my input has led to Staunch Ambition being a better product.
John, sometimes it's that little detail. I mean, that just changes everything. I mean, just last page, one of the pages we just finished is one of the pinnacle pages in the whole series, not just in issue 4. And I had a vision of how it should transpire. And it was like a magnificent page, but there was just something off. And it was just like the difference of the space between two characters on that page. It was just this one little change at the last revision that just nailed it home. So it's always those, it's like the detail, devil's in the details. And it's funny, when we would go back and forth, I realized how we both might have a problem with maybe some panel layout or just something, but we would describe it differently and realize that we're describing the same problem. And it was kind of enlightening to go, we both focused in or hewed in on some issue, but we were like describing it differently. But like, yeah, I get what you say, because I was thinking it this way. It was kind of neat.
And that's cool too. And it's also, the layperson's view of something is, has some value. So it's when you don't know what, like what tricks you use to get here or there, and then you're just given the product, you're like, okay, well, this is how I react to it, because I have no idea, like, you're wowing me with whatever. And then, like you're saying, it's like, well, I was, you had me all the way through here right up until this big break. And then I was totally pulled out of it. And that was your experience, as just a person experiencing it. So, like, there's a bunch of value in that. That's
Max, you make a good point, because this is really the anxiety that I'm finding that I have is I have this whole world in my head, and there's details about every character that I don't even get into in this story. And, the motivations and how it connects, and you allude to those and just the dialogue and all that. But being it's all in my head, when I'm writing it out, I'm like, I need a perspective of someone like you just said, where you're like, they don't see everything, and does it still make sense? Is it still coherent, to the reader, because they're not inside my head understanding each character's detail beyond what's written and addressed in the story. So that's why John's such a big help. And my son, there's also been a few times where I might have an extra panel in there. He's like, I think that panel was too much. And I just like yesterday, I was going over the last few pages, and I wound up deleting the panel, because I'm like, yeah, we really don't need this one panel here. It's just overkill. So.
And all that stuff's good poster bait too. It's like, oh, we didn't use this, we can slap it up on a poster.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys seen any of the pages?
I did.
Oh yeah, I sent you some last night, man.
So one thing I'm going to mention real quick, Brian, just to let you know that you were the first person I knew of that did this, but maybe you're a trendsetter. I don't know. I just talked to
maybe. I'm just joking.
I just talked to two comic creators over in England, and we were talking about the value of diversifying your products. And you as I said, you were the first one that I really remember you branching out when you did Inferno City Firehouse, and they were talking about the value of it, because they have a science fiction / pro wrestling book that's a little bit more family friendly. They have a horror comic that is definitely is not for kids, and then they have kind of another how to draw manual that is also more family friendly. And they just talked about how that they felt it was very important to offer a little bit of everything to their clientele. And so, do you have anything happening after Staunch Ambition that might be a total divergence from science fiction, fantasy, or real life first responders?
Oh yeah, that's actually it's funny. I mean, because you kind of go with what you're inspired, to do, and so I had to do Infernal City Firehouse because like the story was, fan of mine, sci-fi book, as a firefighter, and frustrated there weren't firefighter books out there, just barely anything. And all of a sudden I felt called and obligated to do this firefighter book. My grandfather being a firefighter, friends of mine, firefighters, I lived with a firefighter. So I was inspired, and I felt like this higher calling, literally felt like I owed the comic industry to, at least try to do something in that genre. And then back to Staunch, I'm like, okay, I need to finish Staunch. I owe that to the fans to get them that last issue and to answer the questions, and this is what's happening in issue 4. So they're getting that. But then before I was even working on issue 4 of Staunch, all of a sudden I'm feeling called to do a book completely different again on John the Baptist. And what intrigues me with John the Baptist is that John the Baptist has this story arc. If you're familiar with it, it's like a Shakespearean drama, or like, Greek mythology almost, in a way where it's like real dramatic. It's not cookie cutter and it's not pretty. It's his story arc is rough and gritty and things I'm into. So I'm actually working with John McNichol again on the outline. And John McNichol and I are both writing currently. We're going to do a one-shot graphic novel on the story of John the Baptist, and it's not going to be, it's going to be dramatic and it's going to be poignant and powerful. And Irwin, all things go well, Irwin will be doing the pencils again, and it's going to be black and white because it's so gritty in it. I think that his pencils are just going to fit perfect there. And so I'm in some of the ideas that I've come up with of how to convey this story, I think is going to be the hook, because I just don't want to tell the story. Like, how many times you read a story of a character out of the Bible and it's just like word for word from the book, or no, this is going to be like a story, man. This is going to be with all the drama and beautiful artistry. And I'm not, so I'm actually working on that, and that's going to be coming out after the issue 4 will be my next book. So something completely different, like Monty Python used to say.
I don't know. You were talking about John the Baptist, and now I have this like John the Baptist anime running through my head where he like carries the tank of water that he baptizes people in all the time, or something like. Maybe
I'm gonna add that to the book, man.
Like he has a giant, two giant containers on his back, like a G.I. Joe figure with a little like spray gun. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No. That's ridiculous, man. In my book, he has this like little kiddie pool that he drags around on the back of his donkey.
That works too.
Only though that pool has to be inflatable, and it inflates into like a unicorn shape.
Yeah,
that has to happen.
It's all tattered. It's got like duct tape on it all over.
To be serious, there's a scene where John the Baptist has a vision that it gives me goosebumps when I think about it, because it's going to be so visual and dramatic, and it's literally going to punch you in the gut. Like it's got such a wide range, and it tells so much. There's this vision that he has, and it's I think it's going to be so effective. So I'm really stoked about this story and making it something that people are going to enjoy like tremendously. So
if it punches you in the gut, I'm not going to the 4D experience of your comic book. I'm sorry.
That sounds like fun. Everything you do has been great so far. I got a few topics for us to discuss today. Does that sound good for everybody?
Could I just ask Brian one more question real quick before we jump to that?
Come on, John.
Hey guys, back off. John's got a question.
So, Brian, I just want to clarify for people listening at home, you are wrapping up the first story arc with Staunch Ambition, because you keep saying this is the last issue, but if everything continues, if you continue to put out great products and that, you still have more tales to tell with the folks from Staunch Ambition, correct?
Well, I could write Staunch Ambition for 20 years. So my plan is to get a conclusive trade. So you could, to get away from the single issues. And this 4th issue is going to allow me to combine all 4 issues with the preview issue and make it a trade. So I can sell it, and you can get everything in one purchase, and yes, the story doesn't just end. It's got a satisfying ending, but it's like, yes, I could write it for 20 years. So then I want to take it, and I'm going to pitch it around, ideally get it into a TV series, or just see if I can get it to, hook into something greater, published, or some kind of a series. I'm really going to try to pitch it around and actually put a focus on Irwin and Neil and now Bunny, because even if they benefit from the book, and maybe Marvel or DC or some big publisher pick them up, which they are deservedly would be taken, to do some work on some big books, I'm gonna just try to push it and try to get work for Irwin or get work for Neil or any of the creators on this book, but see where it goes. And then if someone wants to pick up and publish in that, then for sure I'll probably definitely continue the story and all that, because I think the way that this book ends a lot of people are going to want more, but they'll also be satisfied at the same time with what was set up in the first 4 issues. So
Cool.
Very cool. You should pitch that to Orlando Streaming. Right now, they just really focused on the 80s, but I think he needs something a little more update.
I was wondering where this was going for a minute. I'm like, what? Oh, okay. I know where we're going.
If they do, okay, like let's say Netflix does a good job with The Last Airbender, right? Like live action.
Oh, God, I hope so.
Right, but okay, so let's say, like it's not going to be good, but let's say it's good. Like we understand.
No.
But let's say that it's good. I feel like that's just a proof of technology, where they could do something like Staunch Ambition. I mean, like it's crazy visuals and it's a lot of like really, really crazy space stuff. But I mean, like they've got lost in space now. Like, I mean,
yes,
pitching it around to these guys. Like, I mean, I feel like we're at the spot where we could make some of that stuff happen. Like in live action, like in a motion sort of deal.
That's a good point, because I mean, I would love for something to happen, but how many times have you seen some kind of sci-fi series or movie and it's just god awful because they weren't able to get the production? And it's like, and I imagine myself in a position like, would I have the strength to pass, on something that's like, wow, we want to do it, and I'd be all, excited, but I'm like, well, I don't want it to, someone to put something together and it just turn out to be shit. Like M. Night Shyamalan calls me up and I'm like, I don't know. I'm a big fan.
It's a mismatch. Yeah. Again, like I love a lot of his work, but also he's made a bunch of crap movies. Like,
yeah, you're like, I don't know if I want you with my.
Like,
baby
again, in this day and age, you gotta look at the whole history of the thing. You can't put any part of it down and act like it's the only thing that's there. So yeah, like we were all surprised at the Sixth Sense and freaking Unbreakable and Glass were awesome and Split, but you also did make the movie where the people were running away from the wind. Okay.
Yeah, he's done some good stuff, but I don't know, man. One day at a time. So I'm just, once I get this book out, I'm just going to see what people's reaction is to it.
And that's really cool about the trade too. I personally love trades more than single issues. I like to be able to read like a good chunk of something, and like usually they also throw in like all the covers and stuff like that at the back, so it's like you're not really missing anything.
That's exactly. I got to do something like that.
So yeah, I'm definitely, if you're doing the trade, if you're putting out the Kickstarter, I'm getting in on that, because that'll be what's up. All the art from Staunch Ambition is so good. I mean, and also with Inferno City Firehouse, it's just a bunch of great visuals. So like trade will definitely be worth it, I think.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, just a few more things as far as topics for today goes. This is for our Animaniacs crew, and of course, Brian, John, and I will chime in as well. Family Guy star Mike Henry has stepped down as the voice of Cleveland Brown on Family Guy, and The Simpsons has vowed that, people of color will be voiced by people of color. So, thoughts?
Fine with it, but I don't know who the hell is still watching Family Guy or the Cleveland show.
Yeah.
Well, Cleveland show's gone. It's been gone for like 10 years. Yeah. But Family Guy, their crowd is super high.
All right. Oh, he's decided that he's done with the work. So
he's doing it because he feels that somebody else.
Oh, so he's a white guy.
Yeah.
And he does the black guy.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Lots of shows are doing that. Lots of like animated shows.
Yeah, I don't care. It's all acting to me. Like if you feel that especially the voice acting, it's not about their face. It's about their voice. So like if they're the right voice for the job, then I don't care who you give the job to. But good on you. Sure. Like I appreciate you doing a thing.
Max, I can't say how happy I am to hear you say that, because it's like, isn't this acting? I mean, what in God's green earth? Jimmy Fallon the other day came out and apologized for quote unquote doing blackface because he did a skit where he was Chris Rock. I think it was Chris Rock. And I'm like, that is like, blackface is obviously evil or degrading, but he's doing a caricature of a specific person, Chris Rock. And it's like, why is this offensive? He's not making fun of, a culture, which is that would be offensive. He's doing Chris Rock, and people who are acting are paid to act like something different than themselves. Where are these snowflakes coming from? I just not comprehending that.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot right now. Emotions are high on this one, but it's like to me personally, I don't care who you get for a specific whatever role. It's as long as that person is doing the job, you feel like they're doing the best that they could do. It doesn't bother me so much, but I don't know. I don't know what I would do if they got a white guy to play Martin Luther King Jr. I'm not sure that translates. But it's because that's important. But on the other hand, I don't care if they got, let's say Finn, John Boyega was like, I don't want to play Finn anymore, and they got a white guy to play Finn. I would not care. It would not bother me in the slightest.
So you would be against Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, like Tropic Thunder. Yeah, it's this weird. It's this.
I get it.
Line where it's not okay, but it's not offensive, because if they are truly okay, I'm doing this role to the best of my ability, and I'm the best person for the job. So who's to say Kate Blanchett couldn't play Martin Luther King Jr. Why not?
She's awesome.
So it's this really weird topic, because on some hands it's totally offensive, and on the other hand it's the same thing, but it's totally okay.
So
if they're not making fun of it, that's all I'm saying. I mean, it's a serious attempt.
That's also important.
So since we're going down this rabbit hole,
no.
So the Community just pulled the Dungeons and Dragons episode, which this is the one I think went too far. A bunch of shows are pulling episodes, and I get the context as to why. But with Community, I don't understand. It's the one because Chang shows up as a dark elf. He's got the white hair and the black face, kind of like a Tropic situation, where they're getting ridiculed for doing it. So I don't understand why that, they're not showing up and everybody's okay with it. They're showing up, and that's part of the thing. They're getting ridiculed for doing it.
Yeah, this shit, they're saying, hey, that's cool. Wrong that you did that. Yeah, in the show. Yeah, no, it's.
I love that episode. That's why I'm upset.
Yeah, and again, that's the same line that Tropic Thunder pulls. It's just because, okay, now to do the joke of a white man doing extreme blackface for a role, we have to actually make a white man do blackface for the role. So it's works both levels of it, and if you do it right, Tropic Thunder, even Community in that episode, it's something you can talk about, and it makes.
No, Max, they could have had a black guy put whiteface on and then blackface over the top of it.
Equally.
What's wrong with you, man?
It's the same.
Wait.
It's if Dave Chappelle caught shit for his white reporter that he did on his show. Because we're not supposed to, but how that's not. I just personally, I don't find that as offensive. But it's still the same thing. So it's all fucked. There's no. And Scott, your evil fucking cat, dude, is so you just look.
Can I tell you, it distracted me. It distracted me twice during the interview with Hallea. I'm like, what the? Oh, never mind.
Pause it and say, Max, does Scott look like a supervillain?
I wanted the tail to come around and hit him in the face. That's what I was hoping for. I'm like, oh,
like an Inspector Gadget.
Right in his mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
He honestly doesn't jump on my chair very much. I think he can sense the energy.
Yeah,
he wants to be on the podcast.
You're paying a lot of attention. You're paying a lot of attention right there.
See, Mike, we can get super serious without you showing up.
Yeah, Mike's got to listen to this episode. There's evidence.
Question.
Yeah.
Did they pull white chicks?
No.
Right?
It's on Tubi.
I mean, come
no,
on.
I'm serious. I saw an ad for. And last night I watched a crappy Chuck Norris film on Tubi. And one of their commercials was what's new to Tubi. It's white chicks and then a bunch of other movies. And I'm like, okay, cool. So
Wow.
I do know for a fact, Dan, that it's in circulation on some streaming.
Like it's not even good. At least the one Community episode was funny.
I mean,
But-
for,
I think
Yeah.
White Chicks is pretty funny.
dude singing Michelle Brandt. What's that guy's name?
Terry Crews.
Yes, Terry Crews singing Michelle Brandt songs in the car. Totally worth it. But yeah, like we all know that those are the lesser Wayans brothers. Those are the
Oh yeah.
less funny Wayans brothers made a movie. So like, good on them. Good job, fellas. There's a couple funny parts, but mostly not.
I just think these shows should be left the way they are, and then if you're offended by them, use them as a learning tool instead of pulling it. Because like Max said, erasing history. The only thing that needs to be erased from history was that fourth movie they claimed was Indiana Jones 4, but it really wasn't.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That was a fun.
I want,
You know,
I want Gin Rummy replaced with a white guy on the Boondocks instead of Samuel Jackson.
do you remember the
Oh shit!
do you remember the Spawn movie?
Yeah.
I was really upset that D.B. Sweeney was cast as his buddy Fitzgerald. I'm like, no, because he's black in the comics. And I'm like, what? Seriously? We're gonna put D.B. Sweeney, first of all, who's not a really good actor to begin with. But secondly, I'm like,
Academy?
what?
That's the guy from Police Academy, right?
D.B. Sweeney? No. He's from that terrible, terrible Disney movie about the girl who's the ice skater. And she has to get the new partner, and he's the hockey player, and he learns how to figure skate.
Oh, figure!
Yeah.
Cutting edge!
Oh.
Cutting edge!
No.
Yes, he's from
I
that
love
movie.
that movie!
Oh.
Topic!
I was off.
But he's just there to make John Turturro look like he can act. So that's
True.
that's all.
True. Yeah.
So my last
Wait, guys.
topic is
No, wait, real quick. I got one more on that topic. So
Oh.
we need to get Darth Vader voiced by a white guy.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, a big bald white guy.
Does it really matter the race?
Tales
Just have
Savalas.
the person who's best suited.
That
Yes.
his black soul,
But I mean, you still have
black man.
James Earl Jones and Conan though, so it's okay.
Yes.
Cue the opening scene of Chasing Amy.
Oh man. Oh man.
What
All right,
scene
so
is that?
my last topic is has anybody watched Perry Mason on HBO yet?
No, but I want to.
Yeah, I like that guy.
I want to talk about this. So they did a prequel to Perry Mason. It's on HBO. It's supposed to be gritty and dark, and I guess there's a lot of sex in it. So my question is, we all want to watch it because, one, it's HBO, and we know they put out quality shows, and Matthew Rhys is involved. So also that's another thing. But why not just make a new show? Because the name Perry Mason, besides me and John, who watch shows like that from, me and John are old souls. But who is going to go to HBO for the name recognition Perry Mason and is going to be super excited about this dark, gritty?
Dude, have you ever heard the
Me?
the freaking the metal Perry Mason song? Okay, this show is made from that song. It's everything I want. No, absolutely. It's yes.
Now I'm intrigued.
Give me this.
My grandmother, if she saw Perry Mason in the TV guide and she went and watched it, she would have a stroke.
Oh man.
I would-
Oh man. It's about to put more old people in the ground in COVID. Oh shit.
First of all, do they still make TV guides? I just want to throw that out there. I mean, I don't even know.
They do, John. It's the same
Okay.
guy that listens to Matt talk.
That is true. You would lose like 2/3 of the Matt Talk audience
We would.
to strokes from Perry Mason, the HBO show.
Yeah, could you imagine? Hey, I'm just saying it right here, right now, on the 28th of June, 2020. HBO, don't you mess with Matlock. I do not want next year to see a Matlock with
God.
sex and violence.
I am so pitching this.
John, it's already happening. It's Matlock 2021 with starring Samuel L. Jackson as Ben Matlock.
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, man. This motherfucker is guilty.
No, it won't even be that cool because I will make it suck.
He's gonna wear his wig from Django Unchained.
Oh my god.
Hey, look, I'm for it. If Ed O'Neill gets to be like a recurring judge that appears, I'm for that.
No, they're race flipping. Ed O'Neill is going to be playing the Tyler Hudson character.
Oh,
He's going to be Sam Jackson's investigator.
But you can't have you can't have the whole cast be male either. So Matlock needs to be like, I don't know, Ciara. There you go.
No, I would get to play Matlock. You're right, Dan. You're right.
Okay.
Instead of Samuel L. Jackson, we need like a
what?
Meryl Streep.
No. Like a Taraji P. Henson or
There you go.
Fuck, what's her name? The chick from Community, the black mom lady. Get her to play Matlock.
Nicole Yvette Brown or something.
Bring some sass in here. Judge, we are not having none of that in here.
There you go.
Yvette Nicole Brown.
Yes.
Wendell Pierce has to be in it some way.
I like Wendell
Bunk
Pierce.
from
Is he a white male?
No, he's from Jack Ryan. He's the black dude.
Oh, Bunk?
Yeah, Bunk.
Yes.
Wendell Pierce.
Oh, yeah, no, look at Bunk. Bunk could be a judge for sure.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay, is this remake Revolution or what?
Hold on, I'll
What's
text
going on?
Mike. Hold on.
We officially can't do Matlock for Remake Revolution now.
Prosecuting attorney?
I'm bringing everybody from this episode.
Walton Goggins, prosecuting attorney.
Of course.
No, if he's
Yeah.
a white male, he can only play a criminal.
Well, yeah, but he's the DA. I mean, in Matlock, he is a criminal.
Okay, no, fair. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And to
works.
bring authenticity to the role, I think Ron Howard should be the showrunner of
Should be the showrunner.
Blacklock.
And then you realize that Ron Howard like absolutely hated Andy Griffith. He's like, I'm gonna run this into the ground.
Oh, I'm super down for Blacklock.
Oh yeah.
Can I just say I can't after that comment, Max. I'm done.
Blacklock. That's awesome.
No, it's down. This is gonna be the best thing since Blacklad.
And that was pretty good.
It just sounds like a bad blaxploitation film from the 70s.
Yeah.
Blacklock.
That would be awesome. Like tie them together.
Oh.
Tie them together.
Can you see the conversations that grandkids will be having with their grandmothers? Did you hear how many N-words were used on Matlock last night? Andy Griffith is saying that? No, it's a new show.
It needs to have like 70s funk intro too.
Oh
Like,
God, yes.
like you get the Waka guitar going
have
on.
an episode where P-Funk is on there.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. He's got to defend him. It's gonna be the musical episode.
Mhm. I'm down.
So, thank you
George
guys
Clinton is very sad.
for Geeks Podcast. Check out Remake Revolution. It is on youtube.com/Mike McGTV, and it will be on our iTunes feed on Wednesday. So much cool stuff. They did Toxic Avenger. It was Max and Dan versus a more fit version of Max and Dan.
Wait a minute.
Rich and Ryan.
They're more fit and they're like more prosperous. Like they're definitely like economically better than me and Dan also.
That's not me, JT. That's you.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
It still works. It still works.
Yeah.
That one.
What? All white guys look the same now?
That was hosted by Mike and judged by John Orlando. I'm really liking the combination of John and Mike doing these together.
Yeah, it's good for like the dead, like little pockets of dead air that pop up. To have like the host and judge. And,
Dude. Since doing Matt Talk and watching Remake Revolution live and then watching it later, John and Mike are like editing gods.
Thanks.
Like the first episode of Matt Talk, John and I had a lot of ums and pauses and just tangents, and then he like sewed that into like a beautiful blanket. Dan does a great job too. I'm not taking anything from you, Dan.
Huh?
I don't listen back to our podcast because I was on them.
No, I know you don't because you sent me the wrong ones like 5 times in a row, and then I get the one I need.
That was me.
That was both of you.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Check out PBD Cast. You can find the PBD Cast on the 3geeks.ninja website. It is third down. Hit that. The RSS stats go straight to John's feed.
So it works both
it's
ways.
great.
It takes you-
John's
We're not
feed.
stealing from John. We're spreading that love all over. All
There you
over
go.
as much of the internet as we can get it.
Yeah, and make sure you leave John a message. It's John. I got suckered into being a regular on 3 Geeks Podcast, Orlando.
Longest email address ever.
Check out Brian. Brian, tell everybody where they can find you.
They can find me on anything Staunch Ambition. Google searches, all social media has Staunch Ambition. Inferno City Firehouse is on separately on its own social media. My websites, I have two of them, Inferno City Firehouse and Staunch Ambition website. So pretty much go to Google, type in one of those two. There's links back and forth to them from the websites to social media, from one website to the other, to my personal bank account. So everything's online. You can get to it all from there.
And then Friday we have Frady Geeks dropping with me, Dan, and Scott talking to the podcast Don't Fuck With The Original. They are a horror podcast. I guess they came up with the name when they started talking about the Child's Play reboot, because the host is a huge Child's Play fan, and she was not happy about the reboot, which probably none of us were when we actually saw it, because Aubrey Plaza as a mom,
Are you kidding me? My mom has the life-size Chucky doll and the Bride of Chucky doll.
Oh God.
There's so much stuff happening on the 3 Geeks feed, so check it out. Follow John on Twitter at PBDMVP and on Facebook and Instagram at PBDcast. We're the 3 Geeks Podcast. Have a great day.
Recycle your droids.